From KC24, your local election headquarters, with your host, Alexan Balakian. This is Sunday Morning Matters.
And good Sunday morning to you. I'm Alexan Balakian. Time to settle in for another action-packed hour. Along the way, another presidential candidate headed to the Valley, and Fresno Bee reporter Rory Appleton says goodbye. But first, the verdict is in.
We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Joaquin Arambula, not guilty of
a big sigh of relief for Assemblyman Dr. Joaquin Arambula as he heard the verdict on Thursday afternoon. His wife, Elizabeth, bursting into tears as a jury of 6 men and 6 women rendering the not guilty verdict again on Thursday. The case lasting for 9 days. The jury deliberated for about 4 hours. Arambula addressed our cameras as soon as he left the courtroom, calling the past few months a nightmare.
First, to my family, I want to say thank you to you all. You have been my rock and my foundation through these difficult times. I want to apologize to each of you that we had to go through this, but now we are here and on the other side. To my wife and my daughters, you know how much I love you, but I just want to say it publicly so that everyone can hear it. I would move heaven and earth for you, and I'm proud that my wife was by my side each and every day through this hard trial. To the members of the jury, I appreciate your service. I trusted in the system, and today you have restored my faith. Thank you for recognizing that I am a good father and that I did nothing to harm my daughter. However, I know that there are still problems in our criminal justice system and that everyone needs to be treated equally and fairly, and that we need to ensure that the scales of justice are balanced. You can be sure that I will be working on that in the state legislature. To my constituents in the 31st Assembly District, I will always fight for you. I will continue to proudly serve you in the state legislature and will carry your voices to Sacramento to make sure you are heard. To the media, I would ask that you please respect my family's privacy as we move forward from this nightmare. My children have been the subject of a spotlight, but they are children and deserve to grow up in peace and to play like normal kids. Please let today's verdict be the end of this chapter. Now I am off to be with my wife and children, to be a family without accusations of any wrongdoing. It is time for me to do what I do best as a father, to sit and to play with my girls on the ground, to tuck them into bed tonight, to read them a story, and to let them know that their family loves them and will always love them. Thank you all very much, because today justice has been served.
Dr. Rebel,
thank you. I plan on returning to work on Monday. Thank you all very much.
And Arambula's attorney Michael Aids says from day one this case had political overtones and it would not have been filed if not for Arambula's position as an assemblyman. Fresno County Prosecutor Steve Wright says it was absolutely not politically motivated.
I'm disappointed in the verdict, but I do respect all the time and attention that all the men and women of the jury put into this case. It was very difficult evidence for them to have to listen to and to deliberate. And if anything, I hope that this lets other people know that if they're going to abuse a child, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you do for a living, we're going to do what we can to hold you accountable.
And again, this all started back in December 10th when Arambula was originally arrested. Arambula did take a leave of absence from the assembly back in March, but as you heard, he plans on returning to work on Monday. But did the jury get it right? Many more questions are left to be answered. Let's bring in our panel for the week. We say hello to our political analyst, Jim Veros, the host of his own podcast, Unfiltered with Jim Veros. He also makes a killer pizza. He always makes me say that, too. I don't know why.
The check's in the mail.
And making her Sunday Morning Matters debut, an educational program director, and, of course, the former Assembly District 31 Assembly candidate, Lupe Espinoza. welcome. And former Democratic congressional candidate and delegate to the Democratic Party, Ricardo Franco. Welcome, Ricardo. How are you?
Back.
Well, welcome back to all of you here and making your debut, Lupe. And so really, let's just start with this. Did the jury get it right? 4 hours of deliberation. Jim, I'll start with you.
Did they get it right? Well, their job is to go through all the evidence, and they felt that there was not enough evidence to convict Assemblyman Rambula. So you have to take them at their word that they did their due diligence with all of the evidence, and they came back fairly quickly. So they were all in agreement that he was not guilty of the crime that was accused of him. Ricardo,
obviously, as the Democratic Party here, you guys were silently backing Joaquin Arambula this entire time. After the verdict was read, what was your first thought?
Thank God for the jurors in this case, restoring some sort of respect back to our criminal justice system. You know, this was a major black eye with everything from the DA's office to the police chief and the leader of the local Republican Party. It did smell of politically motivated over and undertones the entire time. And you know, that silent backing that we do is very, very important when you really consider how you're going to support somebody going through a case of child abuse, something of this magnitude. We do that quietly out of respect for the family and out of respect for the child. And that, you know, we bounce politics off all the time, but that's a very personal matter to people, and that's the way, you know, we support each other.
Lupe, Ricardo says it had political overtones. Michael Aide says it had political overtones. The DA says it did not. They were doing their due diligence like they would prosecute anybody that had a child abuse case.
Right. Well, first of all, the jury did a great job. They did what they were supposed to do. They saw the evidence. They didn't find him guilty, and good for him. Good for his family. Now, hopefully, it'll take some time to heal because this was pretty hard. I can only imagine. However, I do not think that it was politically motivated. There was a lot more people involved. The police came in towards the end, and they made a determination that there was probably a crime that had been committed. Now, CPS is not law enforcement. Law enforcement is law enforcement. And they felt like they had enough there for a criminal case. And that's what law enforcement is supposed to do. If anything, I think that sometimes I look at us regular people may have not gotten the same leeway, I think, that Mr. Rambula.
You thought there was some leeway there. Well, let me add this. You said that there was a black eye to the DA's office, and we heard through this trial, though, that there were instances where they arrested Arambula quickly at the school without investigating this further. Of course, that was projected there by the defense. Does this look bad for, you know, Chief Dyer, who came out in the media?
He came out in the media very quickly
and
on
said
it.
This wasn't just spanking, this was something more.
He came out there very quickly out in the media, which is very unfounded for a case like this. It's very unfounded for the leader of the Republican Party to then ask what we now know is an innocent man to resign from his position before he even goes to trial. And now that you have the DA out there deciding to even prosecute a case like this, when the professionals have said that this should have never gone to trial, making a statement before the verdict, making a statement after the verdict, and now with local conservative people saying this should have never gone to trial because they know it's left a stain on their brand and on their supporters here locally.
Arambula's attorney Michael Aide said, quote, Arambula's reputation is, quote, in the toilet. Jim, you agree?
Politically?
Reputation.
His political reputation was damaged December 11th. And obviously when the Democratic Party was here already planning for a special election or something going forward, you had political consultants from the Democratic Party here at least 2 days ago. I think that he has been damaged. Can he repair his reputation? Absolutely, I think Joaquin Arambula can. There was private support, but you did not see public support from many Democratic elected officials before the trial. So it would have been nice to have seen at least some sort of hey, you know, we have your back. Obviously, we have your, you know, your support, and if you're found guilty, then okay. But you know, politically, we have your back. We didn't see that, and I didn't see that after the not guilty verdict either.
Yeah, nobody's come out.
No one's really come out. A couple people on Twitter and whatnot, but you didn't see this sort of uproar from Sacramento and from the local Democratic elected officials. Now, party politics, absolutely, but from the Democratic elected officials, you did not see this, hey, Joaquin, you're back. You didn't see that.
Lupe, he goes back to work on Monday, as you said, in Sacramento. How do you think his colleagues will embrace him?
I'm sure there might be a little hesitancy there, but they're going to embrace him, and he'll go right back to work. And I'm glad, because as a constituent of the 31st District, I have not been represented since December 11th, 12th. And there's a lot of things going on in the Valley that need to be taken care of, and so I hope he does get back to work.
He says he wants to go back and now fight for criminal justice here because of this personal case. But how do you think it will be, I guess, brought in? How do you think his colleagues will look at that now because of his personal case?
What he's seen is firsthand how the criminal justice system has failed so many members of our community for either being falsely accused of something and not having the resources, if you come from a disadvantaged community, to navigate that legal process, having seen that there is favoritism in some of this stuff based upon the evidence, and that certain people get treated differently. Now, what they're going to do specifically is probably a question for the Assemblyman himself, but specifically, that's why having law enforcement that represents the community and understands it from a community policing background is so important. That's why reform is so important.
Jim, I'll come to you on this one. Do you think, you know, he says he wants it to end and it's over. He did say that. But, you know, there were some signs there that maybe the police department didn't handle this maybe to the book. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe they want to look at that. You think there's any litigation here that they may pursue against the police department?
I am hearing that out of some folks that they are going to take a look at some malicious charges that they felt that the police department did not do a thorough job. We'll see. You really have to prove up beyond a burden of proof that the police chief or the police really did something erroneous here. I would like to see here in the next couple of years, or at least in the next year or so, if the Democratic Party starts seeing if they're going to run against Lisa Smithcamp, the district attorney. If you felt that she did that poorly of a job and that she obviously used this for some sort of politically motivated event, then
wait, are you saying that Arambula may be reelected because of this and Smithcamp may not?
I'm saying that if she did such a poor job, that they should run somebody against her.
I'll agree to that.
You would agree to that?
I don't think she did a poor job. I think they did what they were supposed to do, and if it would have been any other regular person, it would have happened that way. The difference here is that he's an assembly member. He also comes from a very prominent political family. Of course there was going to be a big to-do about it. Unfortunately, it couldn't be private because of who he is. But I think that the law enforcement, I have tremendous respect for Chief Dyer. I do not think at all that he would have, on purpose, arrested him or charged him, or the DA's office charged him, unless they felt they had a case.
All right, we got to end it there. Not guilty is the verdict. It was riveting for the last 5.5 months. Guys, thank you very much. Round two.